Who sang that? Was that you, Zach?
I don't know who was.
I didn't know my mic was getting picked up yet.
Yeah.
We can't see Mike. My mic was messing up. It's all just a mess today. It's beautiful. I love it.
You gotta reload.
Technology.
And Mike left
Guys,
us.
welcome to the Mike Odyssey podcast. Sans Mike Odyssey. Just kidding. He's back.
Welcome back.
Welcome to the Nintopics podcast. It's party time, guys. Give me your best move in the chat.
Come on, let's send those emojis.
Come on, Paul. What's your best moves?
I'm head bopping right now because I'm typing at the same time. You know.
Wait, no, you gotta play the song that Paul likes. You know, everybody was kung fu fighting.
That's a good one too.
I do like that song, honestly.
Yeah. Welcome to the Nintopics podcast and the first ever Chat Appreciation Night.
Woo!
Hey, what does that mean for you guys, the chat? Well, it means that today the second topic is all yours. Okay, so today we're doing second topic. You guys pick whatever you want to talk about. Just hit the you guys can flood the chat with whatever you want to talk about for the second topic, right? For this one, right? Every single last Friday of the month, we will have either a game to play with you guys, a topic. You guys can pick topics and something different and fun to go over on that very last Friday. So every last Friday of the podcast will be chat appreciation for you guys, and we'll have fun. Okay, this podcast is not going on any platform but YouTube. And it'll be fun. Just we'll do whatever is fun and whatever brings you guys joy. And speaking of joy, I want to talk about some people that bring me joy every time I gather with them every Friday. And I want to go ahead and start with Miss Zelda's mama, Josie J. How are you doing, Josie? She has her peace signs and her peace sign and her dance moves.
No, I'm kidding.
It'd be funny if the headphones were off and you didn't know you got introduced and you just kept dancing.
You know what? It took me a minute because I was like, I wonder if they know that I can hear them and I think my mic works. Anyway, it's all good. Hey, everybody! It's been a great week. We got rumors galore. We got states of play. We've got games. I don't know about what else is well, I do know, but everything else that's going on in the world, we still picked the right timeline, guys. We were born in the right timeline. We are in a very beautiful age of gaming. It's everything is wonderful. Everything is awesome. And
everything is awesome.
Please don't copyright us. And also, my Splatoon fans out there, Sizzle season for the summer has begun. So right after the podcast, get with 3 of your friends and go ahead and hop on and get some splatting going.
Nice. That's very nice. Go get you guys splat going. Don't be sore losers. Remember, whoever wins, be happy and stuff. Because, Splatfest is going on and surf. All right. And moving on to... I'll stay in Hyrule. I will just stay in Hyrule for this one. This next door with Lilly Hyrule. What's going on, Lilly?
Hi, Mike. How's everybody doing? Hello. I actually smelled like smoke because of Ripfest. I was on Ripfest a couple of minutes ago. Yeah, there was Ripfest in my city. So it was so delicious, and I had some delicious mac and cheese as well, and a corn in a cup. It was
That's
so
not
good.
cool. That's not it's cool for you, but not cool for us because we don't have Ripfest.
I'll invite you over sometime. Yeah, so you can.
Okay, and
I'll make.
And can I come? Because I will make you real mac and cheese. Because nobody beats my mac and cheese.
Yes,
you just gave me a birthday idea. For my birthday, I want to do a Ripfest.
Nice. Yeah, for sure. And And in terms of like gaming, I'm very excited because Zelda appreciation. Like we're getting a lot of Zelda stuff, and I'm so happy about it. But I'm also very sad. And
Right.
I'm sad because I'm gonna go on vacation, and that's not the sad part. The sad part is that I'm not gonna be with you guys for 2 weeks. And the other sad part is that most likely it's gonna be the Nintendo Direct, and I'm so
Ooh, yeah, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt.
We're gonna. I mean,
But-
you have to you still have to watch it and give
Of
us your
course,
thoughts when
of
you get
course.
back, though.
Yeah, she'll be in
so
the
I'll
chat.
be in the chat. I'll be in the chat. Okay, going crazy with everything that Nintendo just announces, and getting ready also for the Summer Game Fest as well. Like, yeah. So
And I'm not sure if you knew, but you can download the app and you can just like pop in. Hey, I guys, blah blah. I'll be in the chat and just say hi, and then come back.
oh, that's great. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I did not know
you
that.
do
Thank you so
Paul
much for
does that once in a while. Whenever when he was teaching, he used to be like in the car with like, I'm just driving here with my phone.
that.
With the
Yeah.
bad reception and everything.
nice. Okay, that's great to know.
Like running over everybody here. What
Yeah.
was that? I don't know. What was that?
Hey, podcast is priority.
Yes.
that's
But yeah, it's we also had a state of play, so it was a very wonderful week. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah. All right. Well, so talking about Paul, the illegitimate son, Mr. Furukawa, and the nephew of Miyamoto. Paul, what's up?
Oh man, one of these days.
Yeah, one of these days, Furukawa will say, "Yeah, that's my son."
I don't know. Maury's off the air now, so
Maybe during the podcast, I'm gonna bust out the picture that Mr. Furukawa and I took at E3 2019 together.
Is that when you told him, Papa? And he's like, who?
That's the one. That's the one. Yeah, it's been a pretty good week overall. We had the state of play, which I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about later on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it wasn't the best part of the week, but it was a part.
Yeah,
Yep.
You have the honors of bringing that up, Paul. That's your job today.
Ooh.
Go to play. All right, and we're moving up to Hollywood over here because we have a Hollywood producer in the house / voice actor / animator / film producer / enthusiast /
gamer / good buddy / great podcast member /
great cook. Hopefully, he'll cook one for us one day. / friend, Mr. Zach, the Mac Hendricks.
I was so confused. I was like, how come we're introducing Paul again?
Paul is also all of those things as well.
How
Yeah,
is it
yeah.
going,
But we are
everybody?
talking about you specifically.
Yeah.
What's up, Zach? Tell us what's going on, Zach.
I have just been pretty much working on different film sets all week, doing virtual production stuff, which is cool. So that's LED wall stuff and whatnot.
Nice.
Ironically, the thing that my laptop is sitting on right now is a Pelican case because I didn't have a good, I didn't have something good for my laptop. And so I got this Pelican case that's got like the fanciest virtual production like equipment in it. And it's just like, yeah, this is a laptop stand now. So it has just been a busy week working on a Batman fan film, which has been really fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. We have to see some behind the scene pictures. From Zach.
Sneak peeks.
Sorry, guys. It's private. Just for the cast, and hopefully when the film comes out,
For the members as well.
For anyone who wants some sneak peeks, you can go follow Method 2 Method 2 Madness Films on Instagram.
There you go.
Yeah, that has pretty much been my whole week. I got party lights going now because I felt left out because everyone else was vibing. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
That is awesome. All right, my friend. So we have a podcast to run. Well, today is a party podcast dedicated to our amazing chat here today. But before we have a topic to go over, and that's video games, right? Who doesn't like video games, right? We'll talk about video games, right?
Wait, you guys like video games?
I think
we
so.
should totally do a podcast together.
What's a video game?
Trying to decide, do I like video games? I don't know. I'll see.
We're talking about video games again.
Man,
What kind of podcast is this? A gaming one?
Telling
I
you,
thought
man.
this was the coffee podcast. That's why I brought the coffee.
I'm not. I have a coffee mug, and it's available. But it's. I'm actually. I have Waterloo in it.
That's okay. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Clink.
Yeah.
Cheers, clink,
Yeah.
clink.
Break the webcams or scratch up the microphones.
But, what are you drinking, guys, in the chat? Let us know in the chat.
Yeah. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it mild? Mild.
It's a hot chocolate.
Hot
Yes, orange juice.
There's whipped cream on top like this, all the way to the roof.
And then they like shave like the real chocolate on top of the whipped cream. Okay, sorry.
And some cinnamon. Anyway,
Ooh, yes.
all right. So we are gonna go ahead and start with topics today. It's games. It's games, guys. Just a spoiler. It's games. We're talking about games. Why? Because if you did not know, I think the summer has officially begun. It's beginning. No, well, not the official summer calendar wise, but game wise, summer is here. Summer started yesterday, and there was this event that took place yesterday. And I want Paul to go to just to kind of describe a little bit, see what type of event was it? What did we see? How did he feel about it? And then we'll move on from there. So Paul, hold up.
Time for Better Call Paul.
Hello.
Paul.
Oh, so if you wanted to kick off your summer with a nice sleep, you should have watched yesterday's State of Play. Okay,
The
maybe that's a little
shade!
mean.
The shade.
Oh.
So much shade.
Hey, hold on. Say that again. Say that again.
If you wanted to start your summer off with a nice sleep, you should have watched yesterday's State of Play for half an hour.
Oh my.
That's hilarious.
And I'm
Okay, hold on.
exaggerating a little bit. It wasn't really that good. I gave it a C, to be fair, because
Ooh.
the final game was Astrobot, and that looked really good. And having played Astro's Playroom, which was a launch title demo kind of game that was bundled in digitally with every PS5, and I think still comes out with every PS5,
Yeah.
it was great. Like, it was a fantastic game. I platinumed it. It was really fun. I'm like, this team, if they made a full game, could probably rival in some way like the Super Mario 3D team and make an on par experience to Super Mario Odyssey, given a full game and a full ambition to do so, budget the whole thing, because they had nice gameplay mechanics. They were taking advantage of the controller, everything. So that was a highlight yesterday, and a lot of it was very much inspired by like classic Nintendo bosses and that archetype, those characters, the surroundings, etc.
Yep.
But that much excitement, that was one game. The rest of the show was pretty mediocre and like almost subpar. But in my opinion, so like I always say this, like, what is your scale? 5 is totally mediocre in all senses of the word average, and then you have to go up from 6 being fair to 4 being subpar, 7 good, 4 3 bad, 8 great, 2 horrible, 9 excellent, 1 awful, 10 perfect, 0 unplayable. So when I say something's 5, that's not an F in school grade. That's mediocre. So I gave this show a 6. And a 6 sounds bad, but a 6 just means a little above average, and that's thanks to Astro. We kind of got blindsided, or I should say not blindsided, but we sort of got led awry with the first game showed off Concord. And that opened up the show good with its CG trailer, right? It looked like, wow, this is their take on a Guardians of the Galaxy. This is a cool cast, cool characters. I'm into this. Yeah. And then it was like, oh, the gameplay does not look that appetizing. It looks just like another squad-based shooter. No offense, but that kind of game succeeded several years ago. And that's kind of the problem, which kind of goes back into these long development cycles. Probably when they had the ambition to create this game, it was, wow, Overwatch came out. That's a big hit. Let's make a game like Overwatch. But guess what? That was several years ago, and by the time it took them to finish the game, which is now, that community and that interest in those types of games have kind of died down, and other Overwatch-like clones or inspired titles have come out since then. So is the industry really clamoring for another one of these? They put so much effort into that CG trailer and all that stuff, only to like probably barely use that in the game. Is just going to be shooting each other. Now, and I like shooters, but I wasn't really feeling it. It didn't look that great. They said we're going to continue the story though and evolve. I'm like, well, there's a little bit of hope there.
Yeah.
I had Silent Hill 2 remake, to be fair. Like that's cool. Monster Hunter Wilds looked good.
Mm-hmm.
I know the game is going to be much better than the trailer looked, but the trailer was like kind of above okay. But the game is going to be much better. So aside from a couple of things there, I'm like,
yeah.
I don't want to be mean, but it wasn't that good.
Listen, I gotta really say something. Everybody knows Paul. Paul's the most optimistic, most positive person you could ever find when it comes to gaming. Okay. Now, when he gives his opinion on the presentation, trust me, I don't trust anybody else more than Paul giving his opinion on things like that, because if it was bad, we were trying to find something positive about it. And the problem is that in the middle, that middle chunk of games, it's like the same thing Joycey mentioned one time, where you don't know when one begins and the other ends, because they all look exactly the same. And it's like they focus on providing the same exact type of trailer for the same exact type of game. And head chopped up over here, some blood splatting over here, and some this and that over here. And then they put all these trailers together with that. You forget what games they were, because they all look the same. And it's not so much the game's fault. It's to whoever edited the presentation together. They didn't kind of, first thing, the game selection. I'm pretty sure there were more games out there could have made it into this presentation that could have offered more variety to PlayStation fans, right? And I think that doing that would have given the editor a better experience, knowing, because obviously they had to put Astrobot at the end since it was their main game, right? That's the main game they wanted to close it out. So that game could not have gone at the beginning. Then at the beginning, they started out with the cinematic. Paul and I was like, man, this looks great. I can't wait, because the acting was amazing. The animation on that cinematic was brilliant. And I wanted to watch a movie of it. I'm like, I hope they turn this into an actual movie or series or something like that, because it was that good. And then they 5v5 shooter, another, you know what I mean? And so in the presentation, there were at least 4 to 5 5v5 shooters.
I think I said during that Concord, I was like, if we rewound back, and I'm pretty sure I said this, or maybe I said it on a different game, or maybe I even said it twice, but I think I said on that one, this looks pretty good. But you know what? We don't even know yet what type of game it is. It could all derail when we see the gameplay. I'm like, sure enough.
Yeah. I think Paul jinxed it, man. Paul just ruined everything there. Just
because to be fair, like, if you've ever wondered, chat, anyone watching, the millions and millions watching, as the Rock would say, one day
they're sneak watching
with the millions and millions.
If you ever wondered, like, do other companies watch this? I could tell you, Nintendo did watch that State of Play. They do watch, and they do have their teams that will last minute, if need be, modify a Nintendo Direct. Not by a dramatic approach, but more so almost from is there something of how Sony, or Microsoft, in this case Sony, highlighted a game and certain words that they use to describe a game that we need to edit out or edit into one of our titles to differentiate it? Or how are the public reception to action adventure, high intensity shooter, and are those comments being generally favorably received online or not? And then how can we last minute kind of change something in a script or have a little bit of a different version? Nintendo does, they do look at that. And like, if I were Nintendo right now and that was my job, I'll like, dude, I'm not concerned at all about this 30-minute presentation. The only thing is, now not everyone at Nintendo knows all things,
Yeah.
but if I'm a part of the studio that does not know, are we getting Monster Hunter Wilds, guys? We can't tell you that because there are teams that cannot, confirm those things. I would be one of those people that says, I hope we get that game from Capcom. Does our next system is our next system strong enough to run that? Whereas some people do know whether they're getting it or not. They're part of that third-party collaboration team. But so if I were Nintendo right now, I'd be like, I'm not concerned with anything that was shown that's going to blow the waters out of our first-party lineup for the later half of the year. And maybe they're looking at Astrobot saying like, okay, one thing I do like about Astrobot, and I hope that Nintendo does this, they could make a brand new character and they could pull another Splatoon. And that would be it's sort of funny, like Astrobot, sorry if I'm taking it too long with this segment, but it's kind of like how Astrobot's development is sort of inspired from a lot of Nintendo's own creative IP and titles over the years. If Nintendo took a little bit something right back from Astrobot, and that is the heavy reliance on PlayStation lineage and history. Like you're fighting against a PS5 console, you're hopping onto a PlayStation DualSense controller, you're running around with X's and triangles and crosses and O's and all that kind of stuff.
Parappa the Rapper made it into the game. Okay, if you've been a PlayStation fan,
that's true.
A Nintendo game, whether it's easy to just put Mario, but you look and see what happened by Nintendo not using Mario for Splatoon. They could have, but they made a brand new thing with the Inklings and the Octolings and all this kind of stuff, and they made a brand new IP, and they could sell more merch, and they have all that stuff. So instead of using Mario, maybe have some kind of new character that is a collector of Nintendo worlds that you could hop into different cartridges of the past and interact with N64 controllers that turn into jets and GameCubes that are used as weapons to sling around and stuff like that. And because Nintendo has a beefier, more powerful, stronger, crazier fan base that has more games, more consoles, more decades worth, that if you think that the Sony fans that are kind of all over the place because PlayStation is very different now than it was 25 years ago, if you think they like Astrobot and, oh man, that's PlayStation history right there. Think of a Nintendo history game with a similar inspiration.
Nintendo history. Yeah.
Our people, I say our people because I'm more of a Nintendo fan than anything else, even though I do play everything. So like the Nintendo fan, like they would eat that game up. Like I get to run inside of a Nintendo Entertainment System and actually jump on different like little nodes and see like the infamous 72-pin gold little cartridge and have to scrub it and use a blowing gun to like, oh, now I'm creating a game right now, like. Anyways, that's my takeaway would be let's get some inspiration from that game because it does look cool.
It does. I gotta tell you, the game looked incredible to me. I was like, I want to get it day one. It's available September. Only a couple of months away, 3 months away from the announcement. What month are we in?
Tomorrow's June.
May.
It's the
Well,
end
it's about to be June.
Yeah, June almost.
June. Yeah. So and then you might say, hey, why are you guys are Nintendo fans? Why are you talking? I mean, when you guys are on the Nintendo channel, why are you streaming a PlayStation event? Well, if you didn't know, we are actually expecting a Nintendo Switch 2, which is that's going to be shown this fiscal year. We don't know the name of it. We're just calling it Switch 2. But we all assume it's going to be a little bit more powerful. And to the point where we might see a Switch 2 game appear in another presentation somewhere else. So keeping our eyes open for that one game that could, this looks like it could be a Switch 2. Just like that Monster Hunter Worlds we saw yesterday. It looked like, most likely they might have that one for Switch 2 as well. So that's one of the number one reasons we were looking at the presentation yesterday. And not only that, but hey, we are also PlayStation fans. Paul has a PS5 on his end. I got a PS5 on my end as well, right? And we have also viewers who have PS5s, and so yeah, we in the channel. There's no such thing as those console wars. We love all gaming as one. I have on my Xbox Series X here, PlayStation 5 here, and I have my Switch right in the middle. And so, yeah, it was a presentation. I'm not gonna even say bad, good. It was a presentation. They did it. They presented something. Astrobot was the winner by far.
By far.
With that, that was the beginning of the presentation. There's more coming, guys. There is more in store when it comes to video games, and this is where I want to get everyone's. Okay, so basically, if you didn't know, summer has been known now. I think E3 was the one who started this. They Paul was educating me yesterday. He was telling me, hey, E3 was a May thing, and now they moved to summer. And ever since they moved to summer became that well-known thing for games and stuff like that. And so, thanks to E3, RIP, that we have the summer of games now. Summer Game Fest took over, and Summer Game Fest, believe it or not, that now they have their in-person too with demos and everything. Summer Game Fest. I think Paul is headed over to Summer Game Fest on Friday. So check his channel for footage because he always gives you a little bit here and there of behind the scenes of what's happening there. You'll see him in his Mario suit with his, and showing really cool stuff. So make sure to subscribe to the channel for that. But Summer Game Fest is around the corner. It is next Friday on the 7th. Okay, there, yes, we will see Switch games. We might see Switch 2 games, although they might not say Switch 2, but they can say Nintendo's next gen system because the system has been confirmed by Nintendo President Furukawa. So what is keeping them from saying, you know what, this game is coming to Nintendo's next gen system and not the current system? We'll have more information on this game later on in the future. There's nothing from keeping them because Nintendo has already publicly admitted that they're showing it this fiscal year, and so they can just use the same exact wording that Nintendo did. Next gen system, next system, right? But I want to go over the chat and go over the expectations, right? Over the expectations for this show. Before that, on Friday is the Summer Game Fest, right? Then on Sunday, let me go ahead and go to the actual Sama. Come on, keyboard. All right, Summer Game Fest. All right, so Summer Game Fest. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here so you guys can see as well. This is not just for me. This is for the entire chat. We're going over Summer Game Fest. You guys can see it there?
Yep.
Where
we can see it. We are gone.
There
here
There we are.
There you are. All right, so we have Summer Game Fest here. Wait, we're missing somebody?
No,
we're good. Okay,
that's all 5.
So Summer Game Fest is right here. All right, so that gave me an idea, like high five, right? We were the high five. Well, not the high five, but
like, yeah.
Not high, guys. It was like we're 5, so it's like high five. Anyway, moving on. We are here at Summer Game Fest. It starts on June 7th, as you can see here, and here we have the schedule. All right, so Summer Game Fest on the 7th. On that same day, there's Day of the Devs as well, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Then we move over to Volvi's 15th birthday. I don't know who that is. Looks like a little poop. And Future Play Direct. Never heard of that either. Wholesome Direct is nice, cozy. That's one thing that we're looking forward to. Wholesome Direct. I think Nintopics is going to be is an official streamer of this, so check him out. Wholesome Direct on June 8th. June 8th, the same thing. The Latin American Game Showcase. That's new. It's actually new. And never kind of. It's all Spanish games, I guess. Right? I don't know. As a Hispanic, I don't get this. Anyway. Future Game Show, Summer Game Show. There's 2 future ones. Future of Play. Okay, Future of Play. So there's a lot of future stuff here. And then this one, the bigger one, June 9th, is the Xbox Game Showcase, right? And of course, and on June 10th, we have Ubisoft Forward, right? These are kind of big ones, like the Summer Game Fest on the 7th, then below Xbox and Ubisoft Forward. They're like, I think they're the biggest ones we have there. So with that, here is, I'm gonna throw it out there. Is anybody in here looking forward to any of these presentations? and why?
I'm excited about the Xbox presentation,
Mhm.
and also I'd say Ubisoft, the two big ones.
Uh-huh.
With Xbox, I just always this might sound bad to say, and I'm not
Yeah.
trying to fan the flames of console wars, but I feel like Xbox has constantly been behind the eight ball, and because of that, it like forces them to innovate a little more than we normally see.
Yeah.
Like when we got the handicap controller, I forget what it's called, the accessibility controller. Like
Mhm.
that was one of the coolest things ever, you know.
Mhm.
And like then they introduced all these modes and whatnot, and like, oh, you can use two controllers to control the same controller in game, but one of them can just control buttons and other ones can control the sticks. Like co-op playing as one character, like it's so strange. And I just every time Xbox goes up, it's either I feel like it's never bad. It's either just like okay, or it's like okay, oh, that was cool. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's going on with Xbox, especially with the Switch 2 coming out. You
Yeah.
know, like I feel like they're just in a position more than ever. There was rumors that Xbox was done making
Nah.
systems, you know? At like that got so much traction that Phil Spencer had to be like, "No, we're still making systems."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like I just feel like you can't get more behind the eight ball than having your president have to say, "Yes, we are still making video game systems."
Yeah. With them is they're having a Wii U year, but the other way around, right? It's like they're not having a Wii U year because of their system. They have a crazy powerful little fridge there, you know. They're having a Wii U year because of the games, because they're not releasing first party games, right? They don't have these games that will attract people to buy that Xbox because they're exclusive. They're doing the opposite. They're going third party, you know. So, all right. Anybody else is Joycey? What are you most excited about here?
Games.
Joycey looked at this and said, "None of this plays Zelda."
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
I didn't say exactly.
but isn't there like
In all
a
fairness.
cadence? Hyrule
Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah.
That would still only be at a Nintendo Direct because you know how Nintendo is about their IPs. So here's my thing.
Yeah.
Here's my spiel, and I'm going to include my thoughts on State of Play as well.
Yeah.
I'm not. I say this all the time. I don't really care about graphics, frame rate. If it runs and it's fun, I'm gonna have a jam with. I'm gonna have a great time. Y'all know I love Bayonetta, but I also love like Mario Rabbids. So those two don't go in the same category. So I'm excited for. I like the presentations. I can look at it from a technical point of view and say, wow, that was a great presentation. And I can enjoy it that way. But as far as, am I going to be opening up my wallet? I might, you never know. But as of this moment, so far, Sony hasn't had a game that makes me say, I am running out to get a PlayStation right now. I have to have this game. PlayStations are cool. I'm glad that these games exist, but they're just not necessarily for me. But I'm glad these games exist, and I think one of the things that we have been hearing a lot for the past few months, quiet as it's kept, loud as it is, graphics aren't the only thing that make a game. When it comes to graphics, you know what I mean? I expect that out of like a Spider-Man. Okay, I don't need as beautiful as what was it, Astrobot? What was it? The game they ended with?
Astrobot.
Yeah.
Astrobot. As beautiful as that game is, and it's so gorgeous, does it have to be extremely perfect? I would have been happy if it wasn't. So that's kind of how I look at that. So when it comes to Summer Game Fest, it's more of I'm excited for presentations. I'm excited just to see what's out there. I never thought I'd be a Bayonetta fan. I never thought I'd be an Astral Chain fan. I never thought I'd play a Mario Rabbids. I was always, the usual suspects on Nintendo. Just regular Mario, regular Zelda, those types of things. But it really, Switch generation has really got me on the lookout. So I will be watching, but the question is, can they grab me? So
Yeah.
I'm excited in the sense of presentations. And shout out to whoever brought up Digital Revolver in the chat. I'm so sorry I did not write your name down. But Digital Revolver, I don't care what you feel about their games. Their presentations are lit. They are always hilarious. They're a little edgy, but they're always hilarious. So if nothing else, they're just fun to watch. If nothing else. So yeah. So that's where my excitement is. And then for everybody else who are excited about the games.
Interesting.
Sorry, did I put you to sleep?
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, I'm actually looking here while listening to you, kind of looking at the presentation to kind of, put what you're saying with this what we're looking at here. And Lily, what excites you most about these presentation? Are you looking forward to any one in particular?
Well, I guess I'm on the same boat as Joycey, to be honest with you. Every year when it comes to Summer Game Fest, I'm just waiting to. I don't really have high hopes because most of the games are not going to be something that I'd be looking forward to. However, it's always great to know exactly what's coming soon and what they're currently working on. But if we go into the events, I'll say that I'll be more interested on the Day of the Devs because there's going to be indie games, independent games, and reveals and stuff like that. So I feel like that's, and also like the basic stuff, right? Xbox and USO Forward, I think. I would also throw in there probably PC gaming show, but I'm not really into PC gaming anymore. But again, it's always like just for you to know exactly what's coming, and if there is a video game that's going to be released that grabs my attention, then I'm excited for it. Then that's the case. So I'm usually not expecting much. It's just like, let's see what's new, and if anything caught my attention, then great. If not, it's totally fine. I had a good time. There were a bunch of presentations, or a bunch of news, or a bunch of new games that I might be able to look forward to. So yeah. That's usually
and
the
what
case.
if this is the Summer Game Fest where you find your next big love of a game?
Right. Yeah.
This could be it.
Exactly. And that's pretty much what I'm expecting every Summer Game Fest. I was like, yeah.
That's good.
One day.
Take it away, Paul.
At Summer Game Fest, I'm hoping for a good surprise.
Yeah.
Last year, I was satisfied with what was there. I knew that Sonic Superstars was going to show up. So when that came, it wasn't necessarily a surprise, but I was just happy because the game looked cool and I knew it was going to be pretty cool. And I think it was a pretty good game. It didn't come out at the best timing, though, right next to Super Mario Bros. Wonder. But regardless of the point, that was nice at the show. Mortal Kombat 1 having a good presence. Ed Boon being there, Nicolas Cage coming out, having like this crossover with the Dead by Daylight, and it was pretty fun. What I would hope for at this show is, that surprise. Last year, Brian Intihar, old friend from Gamers.com, OneUp.com, EGM days, who's now head at Insomniac Games, he came out with a nice Spider-Man 2 talk. So could Sony show up with Wolverine? That would be epic because Insomniac Studios is a really talented group of folks. And I think that if they had Wolverine footage, especially, you got to think about it. Wolverine, or Deadpool and Wolverine, rather, comes out in July. So kind of going on that, hey, in 5 weeks, the character that's going to be hotly anticipated in the new movie, well, here's the first trailer of that same character in a game that's still a ways away, but we're going to show it. That brings some synergy in marketing. So Wolverine being shown off at Summer Game Fest would be awesome. And beyond that, just any kind of surprise I'm looking forward to. Sometimes these events are a little samey just because the kind of audience that they attract are kind of a mature audience of primarily first-person shooter involved, squad-based shooter kind of folks. And, I'm a diverse gamer, so I play those titles as well, but you want to see kind of a variety at shows. But I'm still looking forward to the event. And plus, going is always cool because you're around peers and friends in the industry and meet new people. For the Xbox showcase, I'm an old school Rare guy. So anything to come out of Rare would be terrific, but
Man.
the likelihood is just so little, and Microsoft
Rare?
has so many studios.
Diddy Kong Racing.
Well, they
Yeah.
wouldn't do that one.
I know.
Wouldn't that be crazy though? Oh, actually, you know what? I won't omit it. Could you imagine, like, yeah, Rare and Nintendo and Microsoft? I mean, well, they all team up to do this like co-launch of something on Xbox and Nintendo Switch 2 at the same time. Like that would be nuts. But
Yeah.
like, we know Perfect Dark is in development,
Mhm.
but we haven't seen it since that Game Awards like 4 years ago.
Mhm.
And then we heard some troubles behind development. But Perfect Dark would be the game I would want to see from Xbox, because Perfect Dark on N64 is still very high on my list of like favorite games of all time. And Perfect Dark Zero was good, but nowhere near as good as the original.
Mhm.
I think we might see a new Doom. Like Microsoft owns so many IP, but I think they bit off more than they could chew.
I agree.
They
Yeah.
acquired all these studios. They have so much, and some of it shouldn't be a surprise. They've had Rare for 20 years, and they've used so little of their assets of Conquer and Banjo-Kazooie and Blast Corps and Jet Force Gemini and Perfect Dark and Battletoads and Killer Instinct. Yes, they have used them, but so sparingly. And if they never stopped, because they started right when they got on Xbox after leaving N64 GameCube early on,
Mhm.
they would have captured that Nintendo fan base and have evolved them as they got older and built up a powerhouse of the last 20 years. And then now that they acquired, Bethesda and Activision, are we going to be seeing Crash Bandicoot and Spyro and Tony Hawk, which are all under the Activision brand? Or are these going to fall apart because they bit off more than they could chew? I think Microsoft has the potential to do a lot of good, but they have to shift things around. But I'm still looking forward to the event for what it's worth. And Ubisoft too, because I would like to see a little bit of the next Prince of Persia game that's being developed by the Dead Cells team. That could be cool. And the next Assassin's Creed set in Japan,
Yeah.
play on that one. So yeah, I think the month
Silk
of June
Song
is
could
pretty
come.
hot.
Oh yeah, that's the one that we could potentially see. I'm not even gonna say anything because that game always lets me down when it comes to predicting. Get it wrong.
You gotta believe, Mike. Gotta just believe.
I'm tired. I'm tired.
See, well, no, that wouldn't be exclusive, but
What you excited for on here, Zach?
I already answered that.
Yeah, he did.
You did?
Yeah.
But
Under
I will
40,
just
y'all.
say, going off of what Paul just said, and also what you said earlier about how Nintendo should borrow from Astrobot, I feel like the easiest, just listening to you list everything that Xbox owns, like Smash is done. Nintendo's got the giant roster fighting game of all your people in it. But like, you can do something like that in not a one-on-one fighting game. Like, there can be some big adventure game where Crash runs into Banjo, runs into, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
that would be so iconic and so easy. Like, it's low-hanging fruit, but so many people having Battletoads in that, like, that's just such an obvious answer. And it's just
A good
annoys me. Like, I
rival.
think about the Subspace Emissary and Brawl and like how it was a big adventure. Something like that, its own giant RPG, or not RPG, almost like a platformer adventure game with all of these characters in one giant quest. That would just make so much money, and it annoys me that it doesn't exist.
that's Microsoft's exclusive Kingdom Hearts.
Oh,
It's taking Final Fantasy mixed with Disney, but you're doing it with Xbox that now has freaking Doom Guy and Crash and Spyro and Tony Hawk and Banjo and Conquer and Battletoads and like everything you said. It's so easy. But see, it's the Nintendo fan that likes that game. With the Microsoft fan base that is a little bit younger, that didn't grow up with the nostalgia of those characters and doesn't regularly play Zelda and Mario and isn't looking for the new banjo, would they appreciate it and like it enough? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or are they so accustomed to this point, Forza, Halo,
Mhm.
Gears of War,
Yeah.
squad-based shooter, Game Pass, is that the mindset that they wouldn't even appreciate this awesome $200 million budget game that we were just talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. But it could be something that Nintendo fans would then be like, dude, I got to get an Xbox for that system, for that
Mhm.
game.
Yeah. I mean,
Ah,
I think that's what Astrobot is going to be. I feel like, yeah, they made the game. It's done. It's called Astrobot. Before it was Astro's Playhouse, which was like a demo that came with the console, so that you can test have the feedback on the controller. Now it's Astrobot. That's it. That's the actual name, the first name of the actual game. It convinced me to buy one, and I already had one. So I'm looking forward to that. When it comes to the actual game presentation, what I'm looking forward to the most is now that I am more involved, and Paul and I are more involved when it comes to um, you know creating presentations like this, just talking to developers and seeing the excitement behind their games and how they're happy to show their games. It's like it gave me more appreciation for these events, right? And so I'm like, man, Summer Game Fest, they won. We're gonna get more games. My day right now is Day of the Devs. That's indie. That's what we're going after as well. Indie Mania. So that I'm gonna look forward to that one. Looking forward to see what games they have on there, because I've spoken to many developers. All right, and they say it's so hard to even get to Day of the Devs. So hard to get in there, and it's like a lottery for them. It's a lottery to get into a Nintendo Direct, an Indie World Showcase. It's like a lottery, and so many of these devs never end up getting anywhere, and they try to promote their games on their own and they can't, and so their games that die down, you never hear them, and they could have been that best next what's that cat game, Stray, the Stray game, you know what I mean? And I love that having it's what, 3 days, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. Ubisoft is not necessarily part of Summer Game Fest, but they added it to the website, and so I would say it's 7, 8, and 9.
It ain't
Uh,
right.
yeah, and so yeah, I'm excited for basically everything. I know that Switch 2 is coming along the way, and I will keep my eye open for maybe a potential game that I might see. Yeah, coming to Switch 2. That's something exciting to look forward to. Cozy, wholesome direct. I like the whole idea about the wholesome direct. One of my favorite games is Animal Crossing, guys. I did a tribute type of video, if you haven't watched it yesterday, on Animal Crossing and what it did for humanity in 2020. It's the unsung hero, a video game who helped so many people, just kind of cope with what was going outside, right? And so the wholesome direct, the cozy type of game, I think it was born there. It was just came out of there, and so many people kind of got, I'm rooting for wholesome direct to see what they're gonna show there. I hope that we see that Fantasy Island,
Fantasy Life.
Fantasy Life. Yeah,
I think it was Fantasy Life.
yeah, Fantasy Life. It was supposed to come out last year. It didn't come out last year. It was pushed to this year. They pushed it to this summer, so hopefully we see that Fantasy Life. Ubisoft. I'm actually now a partner with Ubisoft, the channel, so I get some behind the scenes look. I know what's going on. So that's exciting too. And overall, I'm super excited, but I'm most excited for another presentation happening this summer too. And I'm gonna go ahead and go to that website right now. It's called Indie Mania, my friends. Indie Mania. All right, this one is happening in September 13, 14, 12, 12, 13, and 14. All right, you guys can see here these are just some of the developers here. Man, this list seems so small with how big the list is behind the scenes. Now that I'm looking at this, I made this when it first started, but now
update that.
Yeah, I have to update it because I actually has.
Well, it does say some. It doesn't
Yeah.
say all of our.
But I added a full list here, but I haven't made the link clickable yet. That's where I'm going to have the entire list of developers here as well. And of course, we have June 30th. Is it June 30th? Yeah, June 30th for the deadline here. And this is what we have so far. By the time this ends, we're going to have, I don't know how Paul, we're not going to do this. This is going to be insane. Then, of course, as a content creator, you can, calling on content creators, you can sign up here at Indie Mania to be a content creator as part of the event. Once we get, we already have a couple content creators. Nintendo Prime Day is going to be co-streaming. Landon from Nintendo Land is also going to be co-streaming along with other content creators that I've spoken to behind the scenes. Their names and their channels will be listed here very soon. We'll have a list of all of the content creators who are joining us for Indie Mania. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be super awesome. And if you would like more information about Indie Mania, then you can just scroll down all the way here and join our mailing list. That way you get to see what's happening behind the scenes when we send out emails with different things, right? And so, yeah, Indie Mania happening 12, 13, and 14 is going to be awesome. I can't wait. And I'm already blown away with a whole bunch of games that we've seen. And some of the games like, wait, this game did not make it to a Nintendo Indie World? This game did not make it to a Nintendo, any presentation regarding indie games. This is insane. And so we have it. We have it. We got the exclusive. We got the world premiere, and it's gonna be awesome. So yeah, that is the thing about the thing.
That's the difference of this indie event. It's like this indie event is made by indie folks. We are a small team. We are the indies of
the events.
Of the event. You know what I mean? And like, no disrespect, I'm happy that Nintendo has Indie World. I'm happy that PlayStation and Xbox have their own events that highlight and throw the indie developers a little bone. But that's the big players using their big platform to give big exposure to just a few indies. And they reasonably have to do it that way because they only have 20 minutes in their show and they have to worry about proper time allocated to third parties, to their own first parties, to direct managements, to PlayStation State of Plays, to this and to that and to all that. For this event is like, if you are an indie developer and you want to have your game shown, if you have something to show, you got it. Wow. That's awesome. Now, is it as big of a platform? No, but you're welcome to participate. And, this content creator,
initiative.
What do we call it?
The Content Creator Initiative?
The Content Creator Initiative, yes. After saying it, I forgot, of course. But that Content Creator Initiative, that is the indie way also. That is the content creator. Those are the indies. The show is made by indies. The show's presence is indie developers. So it's this trifecta of sorts that is working together to create something that will be big and will have exposure and will do some good out there for a lot of developers, I think, which is pretty awesome.
I'm telling you.
Pretty hyped.
I'm telling you. Indie Mania is going to be a show that's going to be around for a while. This is the beginning of it. If you're a content creator out there, you want to join now and be part of the event. We're going to have your link and your channel logo on our website on the indiemania.net. Plus, there is a possibility that you can also, as a perk, try out a lot of these games from indie developers. Join their mailing list for when it comes to them sending out review codes and all of these little things there. That's another perk. You get to try other games as well. And so, yeah, it's going to be a great event. We're small now, but guess what? We're not going to be small all the time. We're going to grow, babe. It's going to be like...
That's the beginning.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a revolution. Revolutions start like this, but then they grow. They get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so that is Indie Mania. Now it's time for the... let me go ahead. That's not it. That's not it. That's it. There we go. Now it's time to join the party with the chat because chat, it's your turn. It is your turn. You are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are the sixth
spotlight
spot on our podcast. Let me go ahead and boom, there you are. You are the
Yay.
spot on our podcast. And it is time for you to lead us into the discussion. You guys are going to choose a topic. What do you guys want to know more about? This could be, guess what? This could be about where Paul lives, his address, his social security number, his bank account. You know, like it
I
could
just need a credit card number.
yeah, credit card number, right? It could be all the NDAs that Zach is under right now. He could just tell us all about it. It could be about the coffee that Lily's getting right now for all of us, and including you in the chat. And yeah, you guys are the ones who will direct this part of the podcast. Topic 2 is up to you. You see how that rhymed, right?
I like that.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Topic 2 is up to you. So,
Can I read something that is in the chat?
of course, yes.
It's a Zelda question, so I must.
Yeah.
Have.
I knew as soon as you were like, "Oh, I want to read one." I'm like, "It's the Zelda one."
Is there any? I mean, let's be honest. Does any other game really matter? Yeah, they all matter. I'm just saying.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
We'll edit that out later. We don't want the others to know. Seriously, Christopher asked a question for the panel, so not just me. When we get to the, it keeps jumping a little bit. Okay, sorry. What do we think of the rumors about the Zelda-centric game coming out? One thing I want to say is that is a rumor. We don't know anything's coming out for sure. To be perfectly honest, everything's a rumor until, I don't care if even Pioro says it. Pioro says it. It's a rumor until the actual devs like announce it or whatever.
Nintendo, okay.
Yeah, like Zelda, it's lit. I'm always excited for Zelda. I don't care what it is. I will be honest, going by the rumors, if it's supposed to be allegedly a Zelda, from Zelda's perspective, it's going to be her game. I hope that somebody at Nintendo has been watching. I know somebody at Nintendo's watching us and took the idea that I've been saying for a very long time. If Zelda's gonna be a main character, it needs to be her own game.
Yeah.
Her own way of doing things, her own way of doing puzzles or whatever the combat or whatever the gameplay is gonna be. It needs to be a story from her point of view, and it needs to go along with the rest of the Zelda lore. But it's from her point of view. What I mean by that is don't have like Zelda like out in space doing something that has absolutely nothing to do with who she is as a princess, what she is to Hyrule.
Yeah.
Make it clear that no, this is Zelda who has like Link as her appointed knight. You know what I mean? But I would be very excited for that. Over.
Awesome. It would be awesome if it were like a prequel before Link came along, and then all of a sudden it's like her journey and into discovering her true self. She's like the daughter of goddess Hylia, and so like little things.
Not exactly. She Hylia inhabits her.
Oh, okay, so it's like a reincarnation.
So it's like it's Hylia in the flesh in a way. But Zelda, the human part of her, doesn't exactly know that. That's why she always trying to unlock powers and fighting Ganon with powers and stuff. Yeah,
I got it. The only way I see this happening, Zelda being her own character in a game, which is kind of the most realistic way, is in a Hyrule Warriors type of game that has to do with Tears of the Kingdom, because Zelda goes back into the past, and that's where she is the main character there, with all of the imprisoning warriors there alongside her. And so I see a Zelda-led game there where she is the main character with all the other characters there trying to fight Ganon there, and maybe have that in another timeline, like what they did with Tears of the Kingdom, or with Legend of Zelda, the Breath of the Wild one. And then, I don't have him beat Ganon, in that one, or do something like that. But that's how I see things going when it comes to a Zelda-led. I would love to see a not a standalone alone. I think Link should be there in the background, just kind of following her like that, and then Link, leave me alone, Link.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want. I don't. That's awesome. I don't know if I'd want Link there because it's Zelda's story.
Yeah.
But I would be okay with if we did the thing like Tears of the Kingdom did, like Skyward Sword did, where we run into Link at different intervals, but we can't stand there and chit chat. I would like that. And then it's the end of Skyward Sword, it showed parts of Zelda's actual journey because you didn't get a chance to interact, sit there and just interact with her. Like they were both always on the go. I don't want to spoil it for Mike, guys. That's why I'm not saying everything.
No, I know this.
You're gonna love Skyward Sword. You're gonna absolutely love it.
But I actually like that idea. Maybe they do Skyward Sword Zelda edition, like from her perspective, the entire thing came from her perspective until maybe the very end. But
or one more thing, and I want everybody else to chime in, especially Lily, because she's like my castle mate. So in Hyrule. But another thing I would like is if they did Zelda that way, but gosh, I've been doing this all day. Been like train leaves the station and then it stalls. I'm very, very tired, guys. I haven't slept in like 2 days. I'm very, very tired. I haven't gotten a lot of sleep lately. But when I think of it, I'll tell you in a minute. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go close my window.
All right,
not going far.
All right, so I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look at other. Did anybody else catch any other questions in the chat from any other issue? Let's see here. Bumini, Paul, Narrow,
not. But while Mike is looking for other questions, I'll give my short 2 cents on the Zelda question, which is, for me, I don't want to say I'm a stickler for lore, but I am. Like, lore exists for a reason,
Yeah.
And whenever people are like, oh, it's a made-up thing, whatever, and like, you care about this? I'm just like, okay, imagine you're watching Iron Man. I always use, or the Avengers, and then Thanos is about to win. All of a sudden, Iron Man's like, oh, wait, scoobity-doobity. And then all the bad guys just disappear. It's like, what'd you do? Oh, that was the magic power I had the whole time. Wouldn't make sense. We'd all hate it, say it was dumb. Because these worlds have rules and the rules matter. And so for me, specifically, I'd love to see a Zelda-centric game, but I would need it to fall within the rules of Zelda. And by that, what I mean is Link has to run around and fight because he has the Triforce of Courage. Ganondorf has to be an overwhelming adversary because he has the Triforce of Power. And so Zelda has the Triforce of Wisdom. Or in Breath of the Wild, I think she just kind of has the whole Triforce. Not sure. But
they barely mention it in the Wild era.
And so unless it was in that era, I would want to see almost like a puzzle game with Zelda, something that involves wisdom thinking, less of an action game, more of a figure this out, figure that out, almost like a dungeon crawl, minus like instead of fighting the enemies by force, you're fighting them by like you get them to come over here, almost like a stealth game. But yeah, that's kind of a Zelda stealth game would be like my 2 cents. Of course, she has her magic that she can use here and there too. But she's able to, maybe cast out a double and lure someone somewhere and then cause a giant rock to fall on this, Luke Gehrig machine. Or Luke Gehrig, that's a disease. This,
magic.
What's the machine? I can't, my brain messed up.
We tired.
Right. Stream fog right now.
No, when you set up all these like dominoes and they knock into each other and they...
Booby traps.
Booby trap, sure. I'm gonna hit me in like a minute.
Let me ask all this. Oh, I'm sorry, Lily. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was gonna bring up something that you by saying what you just said, Zach. You reminded me of that part where in Ocarina of Time where you're trying to run away or trying to get out from the castle because it's collapsing. And then Zelda, she's super cute when she just opens the door for Link. Like that reminded me, like it took me back when I was like, or
every time you get hit, she stops. Oh!
Yeah, she screams a little bit. Yeah, she's super cute. Like, and I don't know, like seeing that, like Zelda being with you and helping you out or helping each other. That's something
that's nice. I want a Zelda game where Link and Zelda finally get married. That's it.
They finally kids
Nintendo won't do it.
especially
Married,
in
kids,
Nintendo,
everything. Host the gang.
but-
I want them to have married, have kids. Link goes to work, puts his suits on, and just kind of goes on the field and
The Legend of Zelda: Taxes for Hyrule.
Maybe a
Coming to
game like The
console near
Sims.
you.
yeah,
Related. I meant a Rube Goldberg machine earlier.
yeah,
Oh.
a farming game with Link and Zelda. Anyway,
yeah. But
All right.
sorry, Joyce, you were gonna say something. I interrupted you. Sorry.
I'm gonna make this real quick, so I want Paul to get his opinion
No,
in.
no worries.
But okay, so I know that I believe Nintendo has said this. The devs have said this. The Zelda devs, and I know everybody's tired of the Breath of the Wild map. I'm not. I think it's a great world.
good map.
But if they were to do a prequel to the Hero of the Wild era
Mhm.
with Breath of the Wild: Tears in the Kingdom, I think that's another good way to utilize that map, because I can only imagine how much work that engine and that art style, took. So if they were to do it, the whole thing from when Zelda was in the past, and I know I've seen people say this, not necessarily tonight, but people in our chat have said that before. See Zelda in the past and what she's doing
Yeah.
through all 5 versions of the imprisoning war, and everything she has to do to save her kingdom in her actual time. And then the game ends literally with her turning into, okay, well, y'all know how Tears of the Kingdom ended. That happening, and the game just fade to black with her in her dragon form, because the next game isn't until Tears of the Kingdom. I'd cry.
I love it. Love it.
Hire us, Nintendo. We have
Yeah, yeah.
ideas.
All right.
And
So,
cookies.
right before we jump over to Paul, I have to refresh. But before that, I'm gonna refresh. Paul's gonna give his intake on the Zelda LED game, and then after that, you see here Ian Holt. It has the next topic, which is Metroid Prime 4. Right after.
Yes.
Paul. So I'm gonna go ahead and refresh. Paul, go ahead, take it away.
My ideal Zelda game. I'll try to make it quick because I think I've shared this on the podcast before, but it's ideally in a remake, a big scale remake of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And the Zelda portion is woven in those 7 years of Link's slumber, where Zelda has to be the hero of Hyrule. And spoiler, has the Sheik segments. And it is you playing as Zelda and eventually Sheik going through in what are these 7 years. And as Zelda's sessions, you're playing as young Princess Zelda, and it's a different type of gameplay mechanic for a little bit until you get into Sheik. And the Sheik part is this awesome Ninja Gaiden-esque, action-oriented. She's fighting bad guys. She's the one who is carving out these holes in these mountain sides and protecting these heart pieces for Link to eventually find. She's the one that is burrowing with bombs under the ground and putting these treasure chests for rupees and gauntlets for Link to eventually find when he wakes up. And her segments kind of end when Link gets big. But like I said, this is in the Ocarina of Time remake, so instead of just going between adult Link and child Link, you could also go into this third part, which is this playable Sheik part. So it's not like, oh, you're just done and that part is ended. Like, you can still go back and play in it, because why create it and then never be able to go back in that experience? But that's what I would like. I don't see that exists on its own unless if it's in the game, unless if it does, because it's a good enough, big enough idea. And if Nintendo wants to, like, let's just say that they take that little idea and they make it, the Sage of Light era, or the Sheik's story, or something like that, where it's like this. It's known that it is a smaller game, but that it plays a role because also coming up, we are creating a remake for The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. But then wouldn't you just wait and put that game in there? Or maybe you do release a full-fledged Sheik game ahead of time, and then you keep Ocarina faithful in that it's just Child Link and it's just Adult Link, and you don't mix up with the flow of the game by having the Sheik segment. You sell the Sheik game separately, but just know that takes place kind of in between this one. So I could see that idea of playing as Sheik in the Ocarina saga working independently. But it really works well if it's woven into this grand remake. But that's what I would like to see. Yeah, I don't know.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's awesome.
But with that Lego Zelda set coming out, the Deku Tree on September 1st, I think it really increases the likelihood of some type of Zelda game of some sort coming out this year because, gosh, it just piggybacking on the. And look at it. It is Ocarina of Time, Deku Tree, and Breath of the Wild.
It is. Yeah, it is.
They could have chosen Wind Waker and Breath of the Wild, or a couple of other variants, but they chose Ocarina and Breath of the Wild. So
that they're the two most popular games, right? Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, kind of like same Deku Tree, and then the fan favorite for another tree will be the Deku Tree, which has a bigger presence, right, in Ocarina of Time than any other game. Am I right?
The Deku Tree's presence in Ocarina, Is
the Deku Tree a bigger presence in Ocarina of Time before Breath of the Wild than any other game? Like plays like a main part, like you have to go in it, fight.
I think so. In Wind Waker, he's pretty important.
Yeah,
as well. But I really love the fact, now that we're talking about the Lego set, that they added the Deku Tree sprout in it, which is, I mean, whoever played Ocarina of Time, the Deku Tree actually, dies, and spoiler alert, and you kind of get sad because they're pretty much, that's like their parent figure for the Kokiris, the children of the forest. And then after you go into the forest temple, then a little sprout, it's there, right? And that's a Deku Tree that we see in the Wind Waker, which is awesome. So
I love that. That part was so cool.
I appreciate that spoiler. I'm kidding.
I don't want to say it, but I acknowledge what Lily said, so I'm glad she said it.
So we're moving on from Zelda now. We're moving on from Zelda forever now for the rest of the year. All right, so before we get on to the next topic, which is Metroid Prime 4, I want to go ahead and acknowledge his Clifford Favors, the super chat $5. Thank you so much for your support. This question goes for the entire chat. I've already read it, and I want the chat to answer in one word, one name, like off the top of your head. Not one, not two, not three. What game would you have on your phone for a cell phone ringtone? So I'm going to start real quick with I already have it. All right, Joycey, what game would you have on your cell phone as a ringtone?
I can tell you what game I do have on my phone as a ringtone. It is the Forest Temple from Ocarina of Time. That is my ringtone when someone calls me. I can't sing. But if you listen to it, it's very and somebody brought this up in the chat, and then I promise, guys, we're going to get off Zelda. I promised the podcast I would not rant about Zelda this week.
Sorry.
No, you can. I'm not going.
We're off Zelda. We're talking about the ringtone here. That's it, ringtone.
So because even though I enjoyed the era of the Wilds, Divine Beasts and their version of Dungeons, I will admit I do miss the uniqueness, a little bit more uniqueness of the older style games. So I'm hoping that they mix that with the new. But that's my ringtone, the Forest Temple from Ocarina of Time, and it's been that way 10 years.
All right, Paul, ringtone. What ringtone would you like to have on your phone, or you have on your phone, that's related to a game?
I think from Zelda, da na na na. Something simple.
When you open the treasure chest.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got a phone call.
You got a.
That's like a text message, right?
You have a text message,
right? All right, Lily, what kind of ringtone would you have on your phone?
Well, I have one already.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, here it is.
Nice.
And I have a funny story about that because actually this song got me a job, which was wild because I was in an interview and it was for something not video game related, and then the girl who was interviewing me, I just got a call and I had it wasn't on vibrate or anything like that, so it wasn't on silent. So she heard the song and she was like, "You like Zelda?" I'm like, yeah. And then I got the job. I was like, okay, Zelda got me a job. That's really neat. But
Zelda
but
saves lives.
exactly, I think, because she also loves Zelda, by the way. But I remember like when we were very young, we were kids, and we were starting to get the cell phones and stuff like that. Well, because for your newer generations, we weren't born with the cell phone, we weren't born with a tablet.
Yeah.
And I remember that we used to have those kind of ringtones on the older phones.
Yeah.
And I got very excited of hearing Super Mario Bros. Ringtone because
Mhm.
for me, growing, especially as a woman in video games, it was kind of difficult because not everybody believed that we kind of like women can actually play video games and stuff like that. It was a little bit harsh in like those years. And I got very excited that my cell phone had that. But if we were to pick a most used ringtone on a cell phone, I would definitely go not just with Super Mario Bros, but I would go with Tetris. Tetris, the main theme will be like the ringtone because I remember that too, and I was like, yeah, that's really cool.
Tetris is lit.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, Mr. Zach, the Hendrix.
As far as my video game ringtone goes, hey, listen, Zelda once again.
Nice.
So
That's
I
what
do
I-
think
Yeah,
that I do think Zelda's the answer to the question. I could see
mean,
Tetris, but four out of 5 of us who, granted, 2 are specific Zelda fans, but
Yeah.
4 out of 5 of us were like, "Oh, Zelda ringtone for sure."
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'll stick with my Mario. I'm gonna go with Mario.
Hey, Mario is amazing.
Right,
The
right.
music. I've never played a Mario game after the SNES. The first one kind of doesn't count, but the first one, the one from SNES on forward, the music has never ever been anything less than like just great to just listen to.
Yeah.
All right.
Mario has awesome. The music's always awesome.
Fun
Yeah.
fact, I don't think I've ever had a video game ringtone now that I think about it, but I definitely have had dun 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 from Power Rangers.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's I was like, I know I recognize that.
Everybody had that. I think I had that too. All right. So next topic, we gotta get up here because we want to cover as much as we can. The chat is leading. As this is Metroid Prime 4. So Metroid Prime 4 is the topic for the next, I'll say, 5 minutes. We'll do 5 minutes on Metroid Prime 4 so we can move on to another topic and then get to as many as we can from the chat. So the big question is, Metroid Prime 4, will we see it? Not that it'll come out. Will we even hear about it this year?
My money's on yes. I feel like we're gonna, even if we don't get, my big money is on we're getting the teaser in the next direct.
Awesome. That'll be awesome.
I'm putting my Monopoly money on that. But if nothing else, I believe we are going to get an update. I'm praying. I'm gonna light the candles and I'm gonna call my other prayer warrior friends and family. We're gonna get Metroid Prime something by next direct.
All right.
Put money on it.
What do you think, Paul?
Yes, and it's going to happen between this upcoming Tuesday, June 11th and Thursday, June 13th, because on June 13th, 2017, at the Nintendo Direct for that year's E3, Nintendo revealed Metroid Prime 4 is in development, and it will be the 7-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Whether you count the 7-year anniversary as Tuesday, which is that amount of Tuesdays later, which is the 11th, or the 13th, which is Thursday, the date of the Nintendo Direct 7 years ago. Nintendo's going to show off Metroid Prime 4 in 11 to 13 days.
Nice.
Colin.
What do you think, Zach?
I am gonna go a little contrary on this one. I don't think so.
Not today.
I don't think we
Go to
see
your room.
anything about it soon because I just can't see a way that this is not the big launch title for the new Switch at this point. And with
That doesn't mean they can't tell us about it.
If they tell or show us anything and don't give a date, because all we know is fiscal year, we're getting new Switch info, right? But that can be up to the end of March next year.
Within. He said within, not at the end or the beginning. So within.
Yeah, so sometime within this next fiscal year. So if they say Metroid Prime 4 2024, you know what I mean? Still not then we know the Switch 2 is coming out in 2024 and they haven't announced it.
I
If they say
think that's
Metroid
fair.
Prime 4 2025, then we're like, okay, Switch 2 for sure isn't coming out until 2025.
I can get on board with that. Yeah, I can get on board with
So
that.
that's the reason I don't think so. Just because I can't see them giving us anything without a date.
All right. Lily, what do you think? Metroid Prime 4, will we see it this year or hear about it?
Hear about it? Yes.
Hear about
And adding a little bit more to what Joycey and Paul just added as well is to I will like it to be or for it to have a Tears of the Kingdom treatment because we have been waiting for it 7 years now. So to have something specifically just to give us something like very little things throughout what's the remainder of the year and also to know exactly when is it going to be released. I do agree with Zach though that I don't really think that Metroid Prime is going to be like the launch title for the Nintendo Switch 2. I totally agree with that, especially because Metroid has a very strong community, but it's not as well known as, Mario IP or Zelda, even Zelda, because Zelda has always been there, but it hasn't been that big before Breath of the Wild. So Breath of the Wild pretty much connected everything. So I'm really hoping that we can get a little bit more like in depth in the future. Like, I don't know, probably have a little teaser this year, and then probably on the next teaser they give us if they're gonna have a title, because if it's going to be Metroid Prime 4, but what's gonna be the title, if there's gonna be a title, and then after that give us like a very small gameplay that we can probably have a little bit of a taste of what's coming, and then like the final trailer, that kind of Tears of the Kingdom treatment. I think that Metroid Prime deserves that.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Can
I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because my vow is if we get anything Metroid Prime 4 this year, not just by next Direct, I'm buying all the Metroid games. But aside from that, so Zach, we ought to like put a bet on this because we're on the same side, but we're also on different sides of the fence. But what I was gonna say is, think about it like this: like everybody went Everybody went completely nuts. Sorry, I got to remember whose house I'm in. Everybody went nuts when we just got the logo. It just said Metroid Prime 4 now in development. Shout out to Arlo and his channel, because Arlo, I remember hearing his response. Dude cried and couldn't believe that Metroid Prime 4 was even a thing. And he was choked up and he was screaming and everything. And there were so many reactions to that. So my thought process is just showing the teaser or showing us a full trailer that doesn't really say anything yes or no for Switch 2. Well, we already know Switch 2 is coming, but you know what I mean? It doesn't say anything of when it's coming or any dates or anything. It's just, that's all we're going to be talking about, because this has been an urban legend for all these years now. That's all we're going to be talking about. So our focus is a little bit diverted. And then when Switch 2 launches, we'll get the big Mario 3D. Mario doesn't need a whole lot of extra. It's just new Mario. Everybody buys it, right? And then I think that that's going to be the serious game, if you will. And that's when we're going to see the full, Zelda treatment. Like, we're going to see Metroid Prime 4 everywhere. So, yeah.
All right. We have a super chat here from Joycey J. So we're going to go ahead and go. We're going to travel to Hyrule just a bit more because we have a super chat. Thank you, Joycey, for supporting the podcast. We have the OTT. What's OTT? Ocarina of Time, right?
Ocarina of Time.
For the June Direct, then Zelda Chic, Ocarina of Time coming to Switch 2. More Zelda. That would be awesome, though. That would be incredible. It's like
because we get the remake, and that's what we're gonna and then a Metroid Prime 4 teaser or trailer at the June Direct. That's gonna keep us all talking. And then by the time Switch 2 comes out, we actually get Metroid Prime 4. I know we're getting a big 3D Mario, so I'm already got my money saved. I'm ready for that. And then we get the Ocarina of Time Sheik's Tale, or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah. So Joycey, because this is your question, this is your super chat, and then this is your I want to ask you a particular one question. Yes. What if they take Ocarina of Time, they make it into a bigger game, and they split it into parts like they did Final
Fantasy VII.
Final Fantasy VII.
Confession, Is this a safe place?
Yes, go
I
ahead.
haven't played any of the Final Fantasy games, but I one day will. As
Yeah.
soon as they come to Switch. Because then I'll have no excuse. I'm down for it because it's still new,
Mhm.
but it's in a world or a lore story that we all know. And
Mhm.
we're just seeing it from somebody else's point of view, and that's what makes it interesting to me.
Yeah.
So I'm totally down.
Yeah. I'll be awesome if they go more into the story and kind of like explain the different areas of our community of time. Just add more to it, but same story, just bigger and grander. That'll be awesome.
And next time we do talk about Zelda, not tonight, but next time we talk about Zelda, we're gonna create the trailer together as a podcast, as a family here, as a Mike Odyssey family. We're gonna create the trailer because I already got ideas, and then hopefully Nintendo will hire us.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yay.
All right, let's continue here. I see here some pricing. It is Zelda related. I'm gonna highlight it because it is actually a very kind of it's good to discuss this because we recently got the Zelda Deku Tree 2 sets, one for Ocarina of Time, one for Breath of the Wild. And yeah, it's $300 for the actual set. And the Lego Bowser one back in the year 2807. I'm not sure we get there yet. Oh, it is. It was 200 and okay. Was 2,807 pieces. What?
Legos are not cheap.
Paul knows.
Period.
They're not.
And then we have 2,500 pieces for the same amount of money. I don't think they care about the pieces. I just think they care about the IP, what it is.
Yeah, it's the IP.
Yeah, the size of the actual whatever size it is, because I'm pretty sure the Deku Tree has bigger pieces onto it, like the eyes, the face, the nose, whatever. And then again, the Lego Bowser one, which I'm pretty sure has more pieces to it because Bowser is just little intricate pieces here and there. But what do you guys think about the pricing though? Like, what do you think that that the pricing, and it's the same exact pricing as the Nintendo Switch, by the way.
Yeah, it is. I want to add it there because I do want to jump in there because I actually pre-order it, and Canadian dollars, it's actually 340 something, 369. So I ended up with taxes, it was 440 Canadian dollars.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's how that's how expensive it is. Now, Joycey did mention something, and everybody knows in terms of Legos for adults, they're very expensive, super expensive. Now, the other thing is that this is a 2-in-1 set. You're not getting Deku Tree and Breath of the Wild. You're getting the whole pieces for you to start either with the Deku Tree from Breath of the Wild and then Ocarina of Time, or you can do mix and match. That's pretty much what you can do in terms of what you're having, right? And like Nintendo will definitely continue and keep on going and making more Zelda Legos after the Deku Tree. Because it has been working for Mario and for the kids, right? Like for a younger audience, believe what's going to happen with the bigger audience and stuff. And if you go into the Lego website, like you have a bunch of bigger IPs and they are ranging between that amount. Like, but Paul did mention something very important, the pieces. For the Lego Bowser, you're getting more pieces, and this one it's only 2,500, 2,500 pieces, and it's $300. But I don't really think that's. I mean, the reason why I bought it is because it's gonna be my first Lego set officially. And being Zelda, it's even better.
Of course,
but I do believe that it's overpriced. I do believe that it should be at least, I don't know, let's say $60 or $50 less than that. And that's very minimum, of course. If it were like 100, then 100. Like it would be okay for $200 instead of $300. But
let me say this though, and it's funny. I was having a similar conversation about handbags the other day. I do love handbags. Because here's the thing: you're not going to necessarily buy the Deku Tree for your 2-year-old who's still throwing Legos everywhere, right?
And it does say that it's not for kids, so 0 through to 3 years old. No, it's not for them. It's not.
And then there's that too. You're buying something like that probably for your 10-year-old or and up, because that's something that they can start to appreciate, and you can start their gaming part of their gaming collection, that sort of thing. But I also want to talk about quality. There's a bunch of different types of Lego
bricks
knockoffs,
and not Lego. Yeah,
and
true.
and people are like, oh, it's the same thing. If they're 2 years old, yeah, it's the same thing, because they're just going to throw them around and not really do anything, right? But when you are talking about making actual Lego sculptures or whatever they're called, you kind of do want to go with name brand. So what you're getting in this good God, Deck and Tree, you're getting quality and you're getting Zelda. So you're actually you're paying for the quality and you're paying for the name. But it's once you put it together, it's going to stay that way. You don't have to worry about it falling. I mean, unless something really crazy happens, you have to worry about it falling apart. You don't have to worry about losing pieces or really anything like that. So that's kind of the trade-off when it comes to quality. And then on top of that, everything is just stinking expensive, like everything.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That is awesome. And in the meantime, I'm looking here for more questions, guys. If you have a question, do you want to have? This is your time. You are the host in charge of this section of the podcast. So go ahead and put your question there. That'll be a topic, and we will all talk about that same exact thing. So right now,
I thought I saw somewhere someone asked us about direct predictions, but when I was scrolling, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I was looking for. I saw that one too. I was looking for that one.
Can that person repeat it?
Yeah, if you can repeat
we
it,
can't find it.
Yeah. And now we'll go over it because we saw it. More than one people saw it, so we can go over that real quick. Let's see here.
Also, fun fact about Legos. Legos, and this is not financial advice. I have not done this myself. But historically, investing in Legos, and I don't mean the stock, I mean actually buying the sets and like putting them in. Historically, it outperforms every single stock on the market and the price of gold as far as like increasing in value. So like there's some people whose whole retirement plan is buying Legos and then reselling them years later instead of doing something with a 401k in the stock market.
Yeah, I have a
Still
box.
invest in your 401k, people.
I have a box full of Legos, so I'll just visit my supermarket. Hey, can I get some?
The box full of Legos is different than like this massive Millennium Falcon set or Titanic set that's never been opened.
I can take random pieces of Lego and build one. I'll build the castle. Hey, look, this is Cinderella's castle. I bought it like a long time
It's
ago.
really anything Disney for Lego and Nintendo. It's just very sweet.
All right, so that we'll answer that question. What do we think we're gonna see in this Nintendo Direct? I'm gonna start with Mr. Zach Hendricks. What are your predictions? Let's say your top 5 games. Let's go there. Top 5.
Okay. So my predictions are honestly the easy one is the Zelda rumor. I think we're going to see another Link's Awakening remake type Zelda.
Awesome.
I think that's just an easy space filler. And then for the other 4, I was thinking about it, and I really feel like this Direct is going to come out of left field. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be all these big titles, but I think it's just going to be a lot of unexpected titles.
Delightful.
Yeah, so I think there will be how we had Mario 35, those types of games. I think they're going to announce the next large number game that is not F-Zero or Tetris 99 wasn't Nintendo or the Pac-Man one. But so I think we're going to see one of those. And then I was trying to think earlier of like not a dead IP, but something we haven't seen in a while. And I just couldn't really put my finger on like maybe a Yoshi game. We haven't a Yoshi puzzle game like how we used to have back in the day.
Yeah.
Or a Dr. Mario. I could see a new Dr. Mario.
Dr. Mario, yeah, that one needs to come back.
Or even a mix, just a full falling block puzzle game of Nintendo IP. So how we had Wario Woods back in the day, there's a Wario Woods type of falling block puzzle game. There's I don't even know how the Yoshi game worked. It's been so long since I played it. but Tetris, Dr. Mario style games. But yeah, really just a lot of left field stuff. I don't have too many specific predictions. And then, of course, I will go with my usual until it finally comes true. Give me Diddy Kong Racing. Give me a remaster or a new Diddy Kong Racings. And yeah, that's my Nintendo Direct predictions. Kind of underwhelming, kind of chill, but I feel like that's where we're going.
Hey, a prediction. They're all valid. They're all good. All right, Lily, what are your top 5 games do you want to see in this Nintendo Direct?
Top 5. I feel like we're gonna get quite a few of remasters.
Oh, you only pick 5.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go with of course the Wind Waker HD. But I feel like I feel like if they were to announce something, I feel like it's going to be available very soon. Like I feel like Nintendo has been sitting on them for a very long time, and they have been waiting for like the proper time for you to release it. Definitely something Metroid 4 we're gonna see related. Like it could be that they don't really have anything for Metroid Prime 4, but it could be that they release like another Metroid Prime remaster, right? So I'm gonna go with that. The other one is we were discussing this last week as to what other games we would like to see remake with newer engines.
Yeah,
and I mentioned something about Luigi's Mansion. Because we're gonna have Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. I feel that it'll be nice to have Luigi's Mansion remade, like remake and not an actual remaster, if that would be the case. And I don't know if I were to say something, if we could have something about Hollow Knight Silksong. I know that should be more into the indie ones, but we haven't heard anything about it, right? So
we'll take it no matter where it comes from.
No, that game graduated. It graduated. Yeah, that graduated from Indie World to
of course, and that's what I mean. Yeah. So and
all right.
I think that's it.
That's awesome. And Joycey, what are your top 5 picks for this Nintendo Direct?
Okay, so Metroid Prime 3 or 2 and 3 remastered, remake, HD. It's going. Okay, so Metroid 2 and 3 for the Switch.
All right,
whatever they do to it. So that's 2. And I also think there's going to be a Yoshi game. At first, I was thinking, well, Yoshi, we don't want it to kind of slow down, but now is actually a perfect time for a Yoshi game, I think. It's fun. It's summer. Why not? And then I think we're going to get some kind of Zelda. And admittedly, a lot of this is about rumors. And so that's where I'm kind of just guessing for my predictions. But the reason I say that is because Nintendo wants to hit a certain number of Switches by the end of, I guess, next fiscal year. And we need something to help push that. Zelda is a system seller. So maybe if they do and the reason I think the Ocarina of Time remake would work, it's something older that us fans and us Zelda fans, we're going to buy it regardless, no matter what. We know we are. Yeah. And then it also kind of helps, show the newer audience or younger people who aren't as familiar with the old games like we are. Hey, doesn't this look fun? Do you like this version of Zelda? We put pretty graphics on it. Don't you want it? And Paul and I are in total agreement. They're gonna finally come back and say, oh yeah, by the way, it's later. And then bam, MP4, Metro Prime 4, and it's still gonna say coming soon. And then we can all just like go on Twitter and express that, yay, we're happy, but we also wish we had a date. Those are my 5.
That is awesome.
And it'll be delightful, because we already had all the big stuff.
And sorry if I'm going back to Zelda, but I do have a question for you, Joycey and Paul. What if they were making an Ocarina of Time remake, but not necessarily with Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom engine, but sort of like a mix and match, like a mixture of both?
I'll let Paul answer first.
Yeah. How you feel about that?
I would either like it to look like as close to replicating the artwork that they had for the game in the original promotional work. I mean, I don't have any posters up anymore in here, but like when they first showed off that game in the Nintendo Power's Electronic Gaming Monthlies, their own posters. You saw really good-looking Link versus Ganondorf fighting, or Link with a bunch of bokoblins and stuff like that behind him, and it was just awesome. So kind of like that sort of artwork, which would be a polygonal slash hand-drawn kind of esque looking artwork, kind of not quite
Twilight Princess meets Wind Waker,
sort of like that, kind of like that, or just go full-blown hyper-realism Wii U Zelda trailer from E3 2011, bust that out with this hardcore Ocarina of Time. Like, I would want it either look like they would have originally made it if they had the pure horsepower to completely see their vision back in 1998, which is probably the artwork replicated in game form, or this super realistic, awesome thing.
And my answer to that. Oh, I'm sorry.
One of my two picks, I guess.
So I'm mostly in agreement with Paul, but I will say this: I do, in my heart of hearts, believe the Wii U tech demo, that is Twilight Princess Link all the way. So I think if they're ever going to remake Twilight Princess, it needs to be in that form. Ocarina of Time, I would like for them to kind of stay close to what the original looked like. Just make it pop a little bit more, make things a little bit sharper, smooth Links out a little bit. I think the HD remake on the 3DS is actually a very good way to do it. But it's Ocarina of Time. I'm gonna play it anyway for the 20th time. So
yeah, me too.
Whatever
Like
it is, I'm gonna love it.
For me, I think.
Yeah, there you go. It's that good. So yeah.
All right, Paul. Do you want to go? No, we're still on our top 5 on the direct.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Paul needs to go. Paul, your top 5.
I think they're gonna open up. I don't know if this is 5 or not, but they're gonna open up with Metroid Prime 2 and 3.
That's one. Well,
but first, we're going to think it's 4 just due to the space, the stars, the music, and
the
then
music.
Kind of punked out with 2 and 3. Then we'll see Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War, because that's been speculated for a long time. Then we'll get like a Yoshi's Woolly World, which is a port, Zelda Wind Waker HD Plus, which is a port. And then the presentation will be almost over at the 37-minute mark, in which we found out that it's going to be roughly 40. So we're like, oh, this is the last thing. It's space, it's stars, but it's Star Fox. But it's a brand new Star Fox, and it looks fantastic. And then they say at the very end, we started off the presentation saying that we had a certain something that we're going to save for another time. Now is that time. And it's space, and it's stars, and it's freaking Metroid Prime 4. And that's how they do it. But it's a CG trailer, and it says coming spring 2025. That way, the CG trailer is good enough in quality that you're like, well, is this a Nintendo Switch game? A Nintendo Switch 2 game? And Nintendo afterwards confirms coming 2025 for Nintendo Switch. But in September, when they show off the Nintendo Switch 2 trailer, they reveal the game in its full capacity for Nintendo Switch 2 as one of the key launch titles. And they're saying it's having a dual release, taking advantage of the install base and the physical horsepower prowess of NS2. So what was that? This bundle of the Metroids, Fire Emblem, Yoshi, Wind Waker, Star Fox, and Metroid. I guess I did 6. Well, actually 7 maybe.
All right. It's fine. It's fine.
Whatever. Who cares about
that
the
was
numbers?
like in a nutshell, pretty much, like everything.
That is like my ideal, but I could see take away Star Fox and maybe throw in Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong might be a little bit more likely just because, hey, we've got a Donkey Kong theme park, and you might want to capitalize while the Mario movie is still fresh, and since the next big movie might also be Donkey Kong, so I would welcome either Star Fox or DK this November.
I would agree with that if the Donkey Kong parks will open in this year, but it's opening in 2025. Yeah. So I would see a Donkey Kong later on, like maybe Switch 2 officially, Switch 2 Donkey Kong.
I have to go. I feel bad. I don't want to interrupt. I've got to go. I had to leave a while ago, but it was too much fun to leave. I want to drop it real quick because Free Metroid asked, and he asked me, and I'm not going to be able to answer, so I feel bad.
Yeah.
But he says, "Do you guys think we could get any of the following games on Switch 1 or 2, such as remastered Kirby Air Ride, a new Sonic Riders, Pokemon Coliseum XD, or a new 007 game?" So
All right, so that
I wrote
is-
his comment in the chat. I will give one answer before I have to go. Anything's possible with Nintendo to have a remastered game of one of those sorts. If I had to say the most likely, maybe Kirby Air Ride, just because it could be a remake of a Kirby now that Kirby is more popular with Kirby in the Forgotten Land. But before Forgotten Land 2 sequel comes out, hey,
Mhm.
let's just remake an old Kirby game, and it could be a little racing game that doesn't compete with Mario Kart, but is just different enough. So I gotta go. Sorry.
All right,
Bye,
you're good.
everybody.
Bye, Paul.
Bye, Paul.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good
Take
night.
care.
Good night.
Bye bye.
All
And
right.
now that
I'm gonna
Paul's gone, real quick, I hope he's still listening.
but
Wait,
Oh my
I
God.
wanted to. There was a question in the chat though.
I gotta do my 5. I gotta do my 5.
I know, but it's not a different subject though. I was trying to get it in before Paul left, but anyway, he's
Oh,
listening. I'm sure he's listening.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So you want to do that first? Go ahead, do that first, and I'll do my 5.
Yeah, just because it was funny. It was from Boo Mini a little while ago. It says,
Mhm.
"Can y'all address the Paul Gale Network conspiracy? Is he Mr. Gale or Mr. Network, or will it be an ongoing mystery that we'll have to accept?" Paul will answer that next week on the podcast, so y'all better stay
tuned for that.
tuned.
There you go.
Stay tuned for the answer to that question.
Oh, and then Mike, I have my 5th game. I remembered it when they were talking. It is Super Mario Bros. The movie, the game.
Oh my God.
Ah!
Yes.
On iOS and Android.
Can you believe that? Yeah. Okay.
With the soundtrack from the movie, so we can play video games and listen to 80s music. I'm
Right?
down.
And then we won't get copywritten.
Yeah.
Oh, that might be a problem. Okay, so you can't live stream it.
So,
Mike's 5.
before we get to the Paul Gill question from who was it, from Boomini, was it?
That was Boo Mini.
I think
yeah.
it is. Yeah.
That was his question.
So my top 5 really quick is gonna be Nutshell, one Zelda game. I could care less which one it is, as long as it's a remake or port. Mario Odyssey, Mario Galaxy 2. The other one is Metroid, of course, Metroid Prime 2 and 3. Gonna make it there, or 4, whatever. Metroid. The other one is I'm gonna go with Animal Crossing New Leaf, just because that game is on 3DS. Couldn't play it. I want to play it on a bigger screen. New Leaf. And the 5th one is going to be, I don't know, maybe Star Fox, like a new Star Fox game, or a Star Fox remake, or a port, or a mug, maybe a mug, Star Fox mug that glows in the dark. Those are my top 5.
So you want some Star Fox, is what you're saying?
Yeah, Star Fox is good.
Something Star Fox.
Yeah,
Star
yeah.
Fox. Yeah.
All right, so right now we got this Boomini question, and Joyce, you want to take that question? You want to go ahead and
Where is it?
it's I highlighted.
It's going on the screen, but that one was from, I think it was from Free
Boomini.
Metroid Hat.
Free Metroid Hat was the one
Okay,
that.
so free Metroid hat, free Metroid hat.
Hat. Uh-huh.
That's the way I said hag. Sorry, hat. Okay. All right, so yeah,
I'm so sorry. I honestly don't see it.
you don't see it on screen, highlighted.
No, the one that you have on screen is from Paul.
Because he wrote it again, so he can be picked.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Indie Mania. Okay, so for Free Metroid Hat asks, do you guys think we could get any of the following games on Switch 1 or 2 remastered? Kirby Air Ride, new Sonic Riders, Pokemon Coliseum, and was there another one, or just those 3?
And that's it. That's it. Coliseum XD.
I would just I'll go ahead and answer right now, real quick. I will take all of it.
Me too.
Yes,
I want you to. Me too.
all of the above.
Second that one.
Yeah, I could see all the above, specifically because Nintendo, since the Switch has been out, has been remastering stuff, and so like the available list is shrinking, you know.
Mhm.
But specifically too, if I had to choose one out of those, I think I would go with Pokemon Coliseum, especially because we
Ooh.
already got a Pokken Tournament DX, you know, which was like a loose spiritual successor of Pokemon Coliseum, and then they
Mhm.
just recently did the Pokemon Snap remaster or
Mhm.
remake, and so I definitely could see Pokemon Coliseum because Pokemon is just such a money IP.
Oh,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah, moneymaker for sure.
Yeah.
And out of all of these, like a remaster for Pokemon Coliseums, the easiest remaster because Pokemon is the most stylized, least graphical intensive thing. I
Mhm.
feel like Kirby and the Forgotten Lands had better graphics than the newest Pokemon games. And so
Yeah, that's for sure.
realistically, I could see all of them, but if I had to choose one, Pokemon Coliseum is definitely the one that I think has the best odds of coming soonest.
All right.
I
That is
have a question.
Mhm.
What y'all think they're gonna drop for NSO? I keep forgetting NSO is a thing.
Well, guess what? That was basically kind of like the next one I picked in the chat.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Shout out to Netweed.
Yeah. So, did Lily?
GameCube. Yes.
So,
I'm gonna go with Pokemon Coliseum.
okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So NSO, this is gonna be the last one for the podcast for tonight. But I promise you, every single podcast, every single last Friday, we're gonna have as much fun as we did today. We're gonna have the chat take over topic 2, and then or we do a game that we can have an actual game where we can have up to at least 100 players with us, kind of playing and having a lot of fun. So
Yay.
Joycey had this.
Woo!
Joycey had this. We're just excited, so I'll let Joycey handle this first. What do you think, Joycey? NSO?
I honestly don't know. That's why I asked you guys. But my answer, with all seriousness, all of the above.
So GameCube.
If it was on GameCube, just put it on NSO.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. All right.
I don't care what it is.
Lily, what do you think? NSO? Do we see it? Do we see an update to NSO? And what could it be in this Nintendo Direct?
I don't know exactly what to expect on this Nintendo Direct because I feel like they're going to have a lot more to show for the Nintendo Switch 2. Why? Because I feel like that's the future. With shutting down all the shop, like the eShop and everything, and they are actually moving and migrating specifically to keep NSO. So I wouldn't say that they will announce something GameCube related. I will say that they will add more to the Game Boy Advance catalog, perhaps. If we can see any of the, I'm hoping for Pokemon, but I feel like they're kind of still trying to figure out exactly how they're gonna be doing. But for the Nintendo Switch 2, I feel like it's gonna be time for them to incorporate any GameCube games. That being said, though, will they be adding Twilight Princess and Wind Waker for the GameCube version, not the HD version? Well, we will know. We wouldn't know until then. But I hope that they are aiming to have at least those GameCube games because they did had a lot of. There was a huge catalog of games for the GameCube, and having it on the Nintendo and on the NSO would have been great. But that also means that they might increase pricing. So
Not necessarily.
we will see.
It's coming.
Yeah, I mean,
We will see.
we will eventually get a price update with Nintendo Switch 2, but nothing yet. And I don't expect anything Nintendo Switch 2 for the Direct at all. Game wise,
No, they're not actually.
yeah. Furukawa said himself, don't talk about Switch 2. Literally, it was like I heard the attitude in his voice and his suit. He's like, all right, guys. Listen, we're gonna give you
Nintendo Switch 2.
We're gonna give you a Direct. We're giving you a month in advance. First time ever. Direct next month, but don't ask me about Switch 2. Don't you dare. And then he just gonna bounced out and then left her. All right.
That's why I think Metroid Prime 4 this is still a good time to announce it because they don't have to tell us anything. I don't think they're going to tell us a date. I don't think they're going to give us a time frame. It's just, hey, we're working on this. It's real. It's not a conspiracy. Metroid Prime 4 is real. And then that'll just keep us talking because at that point, do we care which system it comes? Okay, I care a little bit because I think it'll make the Switch 2 do even better. But for those who aren't planning on buying it, it's still Nintendo's keeping their promise that this is going to be on the Switch because we announced it for the Switch.
Right.
Just like they did with Metroid Dread, like the OLED version of Metroid Dread. I really like that. So if they can do something similar, that'll be nice. It'll be neat.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, Zach, what do you think? Do we see any updates for NSO Not necessarily GameCube, but do we see any updates for NSO?
We see
NSO?
updates. We see new games getting added.
Yeah.
I desperately have been hoping that we see GameCube, and
Mhm.
like I think Nintendo has explored the option, but at
Yeah.
the same time,
Yeah.
I feel like GameCube can go either way. I want it. I think it would be a good choice, but I could also see them not doing anything GameCube for NSO because
Mhm.
those games are so much more similar to modern games than like N64. You know, where
Closer.
it's like,
Yeah.
where it's like,
Good point.
no, we're gonna re-release this like as a remaster and make more money off of it. Where you'd be less inclined to buy a remaster of this game you've never played before if it's now available for free
Yeah.
with
Well,
slightly inferior graphics. I hope we get it. I think we should, but I'm on the fence if they're gonna
Yeah.
do it or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. I'm
Agreed.
gonna knock you out the fence here, and I'm gonna tell you. Look, GameCube will eventually come to NSO. Eventually come to NSO. The first thing, Nintendo has a subscription service. The more consoles they release, the more retro the one becomes, right? And so what they want to do is keep the old consoles alive through NSO. That's their brand new platform. Nintendo is moving NSO to the next Nintendo Switch, to the next console. It's moving forward with Nintendo accounts, and so I personally think that NSO is separate from Switch. I don't see the same. I see NSO as a subscription service you can get through Switch, and then you're gonna get the same NSO through Switch too.
Mhm.
Because of that, I don't rule out that we might see GameCube on this direct
Mhm.
because it's a separate service. It's Nintendo charging you to give you access to their retro catalog, right? And
Mhm.
there are 800 and something games on GameCube. 800 and something games on GameCube. Not all of them will get ports. There are a lot of games on GameCube that could live happily on NSO. Mario, like I said, Mario Kart Double Dash. That game is never going to get an HD version with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe going bigger every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Smash Bros. Melee. Smash Bros. Ultimate did the ultimate, and then how are they going to top that? Melee seems small compared to that one. So hey, it could live on NSO with multiplayer added to it, and therefore that Melee community is happy they can use Melee there to do their tournaments and everything there, right? It's there. And so there's so many games that could live. Animal Crossing, the very first game, right? It's on GameCube. That's not gonna get an HD version or remake like that. It's not that big of a game in order for it to warrant one. And so yeah, there are many games that could get remade or will never get remade that can live on NSO happily. And so I think GameCube could be added at any moment. Not only GameCube, but DS alongside it. So Nintendo DS and Nintendo GameCube alongside it. Of course, we'll continue to get updates like we get for NES, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64. The one thing I'm kind of curious about when it comes to NSO is like, why is it we haven't gotten any other Sega consoles on there? You know?
Oh, that's right. That's true.
That is a really good question, actually.
Sega Genesis, right? And that came at the beginning of NSO. I'm like, how about we get some, we get some Sega Dreamcast will be awesome to throw in there, right? Whatever's equivalent to 64, right? And so other consoles there, it opens the door for maybe Atari to enter NSO and to kind of live in that little bubble there.
ET on Switch 2. We
ET,
all know we want it.
So yeah, I never rule out, and I don't ever put NSO next to an actual system because GameCube is not more powerful than Switch. Switch can easily play GameCube games with some quality of life or whatever, or maybe that the GameCube controller that they have, that they could sell with it because they've sold controllers for every single system they have. They have the NES controller, they have the Super Nintendo controller, they have the 64 controller, they have the Sega controllers. All they have to do is just sell the GameCube controller, which, by the way, it's already everywhere. I actually have
it too.
I have a whole bunch of GameCube controllers that work on my Switch right now. So
can I say something about that real quick? Yeah. A little off topic, but not too much.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Nintendo realizes how much of a killing they could make off of those controllers. Of course, sell the original looking ones that are now wireless and everything. But then go back to them old school colors. Bring
Yeah.
bring over the Famicom. Just the collectors alone would just go ham. I'm so super serial right now.
I agree. And also, I would love to see Famicom make it to NSO on our side, because there's so many games that didn't make it from Japan, didn't make it to US.
Like, we don't care about localization. Just send it over. We'll figure it out.
Although you can, because all you gotta do is basically just kind of install, have an account for NSO,
right,
in Japan.
In
whatever.
Japan,
I do get both Japan and United States, but let me just add them regular, so you don't have to jump any hoops to get to them. So yeah, NSO. I think we'll see some updates this time around. I won't never rule out GameCube and or DS, because like I said, I don't think they're two separate things. It's a service that Nintendo has, and I think it's going to continue to improve, get better and better. I think, well, not right now. This is for Switch 2. Nintendo's going to add another service and combine it with NSO, and it has to do with movies. I'll leave it right there. It has to do with their own movies and TV shows regarding Nintendo. So, that is, I think, going to do it for our podcast. We hit the 2 hour and 2 mark. So it's good.
We try to keep it short, y'all, and it never works.
We try. Yeah, we do.
Yeah. But it was a fun podcast. This is a party podcast, so it's okay. It's fine. It's okay. So, guys, you are amazing. Thank you for taking over that second topic. You guys have made it the best topic ever. We talked a little bit about everything in the show, Switch 2, Metroid, everything. And so it's been super fun, my friends.
So much fun.
This is the last podcast of May. By the next time we have a podcast, we'll be reacting to Summer Game Fest Day 1, because it falls on that Friday. We'll be here reacting to everything that was shown, and I hope you guys can be here. Today we had a max count of 185 viewers.
Thank all of you for
Thank
watching.
Amazing, and I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys more than you know. Before we want to let you go, I want to present the cast today, starting with Paul Garrett Network. You can find him on Paul Garrett Network on YouTube. He has amazing videos out there. He's turning Super Saiyan. He's a martial artist, and he has other content regarding Nintendo. So it's a treasure to actually subscribe to Paul Garrett Network. Then take it away, Joycey J. Where can we find you?
I am Joycey J. I do not have a YouTube channel. Don't want one. And however, you can find me on Twitter, because I refuse to call it X, at DJ Joycey. I'm just a crazy old lady who loves video games.
And you can find Joycey every Friday here at the Nintopics Podcast.
Right, Champ.
This is the exclusive channel for Joycey Rants. So you have to subscribe to get all those rants. Moving over to Hyrule, Lilly Hyrule. Where can we find you?
Hi, neighbor.
Hi, how are you, neighbor? You can find me on YouTube as Lilly Hyrule. This podcast is actually being broadcast directly on my channel. If anyone wants to, hop into the channel, and there's a bunch of content there. So I really appreciate that. And you can also follow me on other social media as same, like Lilly Hyrule. But I'm not being that active on those platforms. But you can always, send me a quick message. I'm always trying to do my best to reply to each one of you guys. So yeah, feel free to follow me there. And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
All right, moving on to Zach, the Mac Hendricks.
What up? Hey guys, you can find me here every Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then other time zones. But also too, you can find me on Twitter/X at YoungCalfZach, and pretty much everywhere else at Zach Hendricks Voiceovers or Zach Hendricks Media. They all come up no matter which one you search.
Awesome, Josh. And of course, you can find me here at the Odyssey. I just want to give a quick update. You guys can see here on screen if it pops up. The shirts are back in stock.
Nice.
All right. That Nintendo Direct Hype shirt has sold out 3 times, and I finally found a new vendor. They are back in stock. Joycey asked for a woman cut. It's also in stock, so we have it there as well. So
I'm going to go order mine after we get off of here.
You can pick up your Never Give Up Journey On t-shirt. Either subscribe to Mike Odyssey, Nintendo Direct Hype in time for Nintendo Direct, and your Nintopic Podcast t-shirt as well. You can find me here at the Odyssey Monday through Friday. The Mike Odyssey show is about to begin.
Yay.
Days. I will give you guys more update. It's gonna be awesome. And of course, you can find me here every single Friday at the Nintopics Podcast with one of the best crews ever assembled in the podcast ever. You guys,
We're like the Avengers.
this is how you end your weekend on a hype, happy, ready for the weekend. And I am glad that you're here because you guys are the best part of our weekend. So thank you for being here. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Before we let you go, we got two things we need to let you know. Two things, just two things. Number one,
Never give
You
up.
usually never give up. You usually call.
Oh,
on
I thought you were
us.
pointing at me
Yeah, I thought like who's
Yeah.
gonna say it?
when you were like that. And I'm above you.
no, don't do it. Don't give up. Don't give up. Okay, never
Don't
ever
do
give
that.
up.
Don't
All
do
right.
that because we
Yeah.
need you.
Number two,
Journey on.
turning on. Let's go with the dance. My little bird. You know the doves, like at the end of the party, like a doves, they're flying
Holy
away.
dynamite.
The dove. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Good
Bye.
night, guys.
Good night.
Have a great weekend.
I think I'm looking for the end stream thing.
We never end right.
This is our new tradition.
This is such a tradition now. Find the button, Mike. Find the button. I can't dance for much longer. Where's the button, Mike?
What is it? Is that
The end button, Mike.
You know the reason Miss America waves like this is so this doesn't shake.
Oh, you know what? And that is true. That does work.